Hello everyone, my name is Sarathi and I'm happy to meet you all, and today we are going to be talking about the new Banlist. So this came out overnight and it's pretty short, coming up on May 8th. First things first, they are taking Solemn Judgment and putting it from 3 to 2. Honestly, I feel like I only get judgmented maybe once a day. It's very rare to see Judgment being played by most decks. I took a look at some of the top-ranked decks on Master Duel Meta, and the only deck that was running it was Dynamorphia. And Dynamorphia got one top this month, a top 8. Not really a meta threat. So I'm not really sure what this is for. I've also talked about my banning philosophy before on this channel. I'll recap real quick. If you don't want a card's effect to resolve at all, because the effect of the card resolving is something you consider unacceptable, then you ban the card. If you find the effect of a card tolerable, but you don't want the card to be summoned more than once in a single turn, or you don't want 2 copies of the card on the field at the same time. For example, like if Monster Reborn, because it's not a hard once per turn, or the best way I can put it is Appaloosa. If Appaloosa did not have card text that said you can only control 1 Appaloosa, that card would be limited to 1 because the card's effect is not a hard once per turn, and you benefit from having as many triggers of it as possible. If you couldn't only control 1, then people would have already found a way to make 4 of them, or not 4 of them, 3 of them, and you would see a deck that has 3 Appaloosas on turn 1 as like the best deck. So limiting 1 is for that purpose. It's to make sure that cards that don't have any sort of restriction cannot be played more than once on the same board. I don't see any reason to put a card to 2. There's not really any benefit for that. So I'm not sure what the point of this. I guess the point of putting a card to 2 is that you don't mind the card resolving, but you want it to resolve less frequently, or I guess it's also if it's specifically for like a drawn out deck that you really don't want. You want to reduce the staying power of a deck that can search continuously and recycle once per turn effects. That's also, I guess, a reason to put a card to 2. But Solemn Judgment is neither of those. It's not really a searchable card, and it's not once per turn either. So I don't know what the point of this is. I think it's silly, but fine. You can only play 2 Judgments now. I'm sure that most of you weren't playing any, and for those of you that were playing 3, there are plenty of other options. Now they're unlimiting some things. So Fire King Avatar Kirin is going from 2 to 3. Rescue Ace Airlifter is going from 2 to 3. Emergency Teleport is going from 2 to 3. And Pearly is going from 2 to 3. That's fantastic. All of these decks have been weaker in the past few months. Snake Eyes Fire King is still technically like a tier 3 deck. And they are playing 2 copies of Kirin right now, so that's probably the most relevant change. It is possible that if they have a third Fire King High Avatar Kirin, that their deck will get slightly better. But I don't think that's a huge cause for concern. It's okay for a strong deck to get a little bit stronger if it means that it can challenge other decks more easily. Rescue Ace is still a deck that sees play and it still sees success, but it's definitely not the powerhouse that it was when it got limited. Emergency Teleport is the interesting one. This change definitely like improves decks that focus on a rank 3 engine. So I think this was unhit to buff Goblin Bikers, and Goblin Bikers are a really good deck. They show, they have some representation. They got a few tops. They got 2 first places in the last couple weeks. So I do think that E-Telly going to 3 is definitely going to help. Let me see if these decks are even running E-Telly. Okay, this list is a 60 card pile that's not playing E-Telly, which is unfortunate. What about the other one? This one's playing E-Telly at 2. Okay. All right, yeah. Yeah, so of the two first place lists, one of them was not using that rank 3 engine, the other one was. So yeah, definitely could shake things up, make Goblin Makers even better than they already are. And then Pearly, Pearly as a deck was definitely like a frustrating deck for people to play against because of X-Pearly Noir, but it has not seen significant play or representation since it got nerfed, and I think it's been power corrupted at this point, so I think it's okay that they're going to bring it back. And that's the ban list. Alright, so let me know what you guys think in the comments below. My name is Serafi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.